you take this woman as your lawful wedded wife?
Ooh, yeah! Oh,
Place the ring on her finger and repeat after me. With this ring,
no. With this ring,
I thee wed.
I thee wed.
Hello and welcome to With This Ring, episode 36. I'm your co-host Ryan Everett.
I'm your co-host Cindy Everett.
And today, episode 36, our third anniversary.
Yeah.
We will be looking at our next member on the GWWE list, Kurt Angle, the only Olympic Gold Medalist in WWF history.
So did we record all through COVID?
Yeah.
Not like COVID really affects podcasting, but
we
the new
started
one.
it. Yeah, well, I think
Did we take a month
we
off?
did the first 4 or 5 episodes. I thought we were going to be weekly.
Oh, that's too much.
So yeah, we did that though. Like the first 4 episodes we recorded in 6 weeks.
I kind of remember that.
So then we kind of had quite a backload. So after Jake, it kind of morphed back into the monthly format.
I gotcha.
Which is much more digestible.
Much more doable for everyone involved.
Yes.
Okay, but yeah, back to our friend Kurt Angle.
Yeah, so Kurt Angle, he won the Olympics in 1996, and
is it different weight classes or?
I mean, it was heavyweight, amateur freestyle. I think.
Have you seen the match?
I watched it. Yes.
Yeah.
Afterwards, and yeah, I mean, it's an Iranian, I think, and he kind of is on top of the guy the whole time.
And then another stupid question: do they win a judging panel?
Yeah, it's
okay.
it's. I mean, there's. I think
it's not tapping out or
No, I mean you could get points,
That's
but
right.
I think when you get to the Olympic level, it's all the judges scoring the point. It's not I think this guy won the round. It's this guy had 2 takedowns and no escapes or whatever.
Okay.
I think. I mean, you could feel free to.
No, we should have watched his Olympic match.
It doesn't count on his GWWE list.
Okay,
it is
fair
not.
enough.
It's not in the WWF ring, so it doesn't count.
All right.
So after that, though, he was like, "Hey, I'm hot shit. I have an Olympic gold medal. I'm sure WWF people keep talking to me about Shawn Michaels, some guy who flew down from the ceiling, but I'm the best wrestler in the world."
Oh.
So he met with them, and he said, if I don't win every match, I'm not going to sign a contract.
That's a strong position to take.
Yeah, well,
every match.
Well, his stock was high at the time.
That's
I mean,
true.
he thought, he didn't really understand. In his book, he talks about he did not understand.
Yeah, clearly.
He knew it was staged, but he didn't really understand how staged it was. He kind of figured it was staged, but they just determined who the better wrestler was beforehand, I think, and that guy won.
Not really.
Which, yeah, if that was true, Kurt Angle would win every match.
But it's part of the bigger story.
Right.
Which he didn't sound like he didn't really appreciate
and
at the time.
So he was kind of so WWF and him were done, but then ECW kind of presented themselves as the more sport brand, the more real wrestling.
Okay.
And so Taz came out. They had a show in Philadelphia where they had not acknowledged oh, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest, Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. And then Taz, who had been doing this thing where he was wrestling all these washed up UFC guys already. Washed up 1996 UFC, which means they were
pretty bad.
They were
pretty washed up.
Street fighters that won one match there and
Gotcha.
tried to make a name for themselves. So they'd come in and lose to Taz for whatever payment they required that week.
Jeez.
But so it was his thing though, building himself up. I could beat any real athlete.
Gotcha.
So then at this show he challenged Kurt Angle, and it was kind of ooh, what's this going to lead to? But then later in the night, they had a Raven vs. Sandman match. And during the feud, this was a feud that had been going on for a while. Raven had stolen Sandman's family because he was a cult leader.
I think we've seen other Raven stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Or Raven adjacent.
Yeah,
content.
probably. Yeah, I think we watched the Goldberg Raven match.
Yes.
Yeah, and there was WCW, but it was kind of like an offshoot of his ECW gimmick, just a little less like
Weird.
yeah,
Culture.
not as like weird like women slave, sex slaves sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Sort of undertones at least, let's say.
Yeah, not overtones.
Allegedly.
Oh.
But anyway, so at the end of this night though, the feud was going to rise to the level of Raven pulling out two different boards of two different wooden boards, 2x4s, and tying Sandman to it, and then putting a crown of barbed wire on his head.
Ugh.
I mean, I don't know what that symbol is of, but Kurt Angle was very offended.
By it. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people were.
Went to Paul Heyman
Mm-hmm.
and said, like, if you ever show any footage of me at this event, I will sue you. And Paul Heyman, who, despite his said numerous times that his dad is a Jewish lawyer,
Yes.
was not ready to fight this battle.
True.
So even at the end of the show, it was never shown on TV, but on the WWF ECW DVD, they showed like the clips of this, and they showed the clip of Raven coming out at the end of the night and being like, "My name is Scott Levy. I'm a Jewish man. I am an atheist, however. If any of you are offended by the use of religious iconography that I used in this earlier tonight, I apologize."
Yeah, that's not good.
Like very, like I'm not sorry about this, but if some of you are.
Yeah, and the non-apology.
Yes.
Apology. Interesting.
So then Kurt Angle kind of like, he was out of ECW, obviously.
Yep.
That Angle did not.
Did he ever try and go for WCW?
No, I don't think they kind of never really made overtones at him. So then he kind of went back to WWF, and they was like, hey, I'm kind of willing to lose a few matches.
Right.
So this time around, they were like, sure, but you got to go down to Memphis or developmental. You got to work, learn how to wrestle. Like, originally in '96, there's a chance that they would have like brought him up right away and been like on Raw, like just to capitalize on his name, and put him with guys that would.
I mean, granted, I was 12 when the Atlanta Olympics happened. I had never heard of Kurt Angle.
Yeah, well,
the only 1996 Atlanta team I recognize is the women's gymnastics.
Yeah, I mean, no one really watched.
Stroud,
No one watched the
Billy
wrestling
Michiana.
tournament. It's not like.
Well, you're making it sound like everyone knew who he was, like he was hot shit.
Well, even if he just showed up on Raw in like August of 1996, I never watched the Olympic wrestling match, but I would have been like, oh, this guy won the gold medal. Like,
yeah.
If they sold him on his legitimate credentials like 3 weeks after it happened, it would have been.
That's true.
Pretty recognizable, and he would have probably gotten a little bump just from people still on their Olympic high.
Yeah, every 4 years we get that Olympic high.
Yeah, but so by the time he came to the WWF, it was October of '99, so he'd been in developmental like about 7 or 8 months. They started showing these promos for him, and it was always like this, like the patriotic music, and him like sitting with his gold medals, talking about like how he's a real role model for people. So they kind of built it up like in the same way that they built up Rocky Maivia in 1996. Gotcha. But this time they kind of knew what they were doing. Where like they knew that they were laying it on so thick that people were going to boo this guy. Yeah. So his first match was at Survivor Series, and he starts it like right away. He goes like double leg takedown and just right into a headlock. And right away the fans start chanting boring. So he rolls out of the ring, grabs the microphone, and says, excuse me. I'm Olympic gold medalist. You do not chant boring. An Olympic gold medalist. Thank you.
So he kind of he got it right
away.
Yeah.
So right away everyone knows, okay, we're supposed to boo this guy. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, he's so stuck up.
But, like, did he really like the gimmick, though? Because he didn't really had any other characters, right? It's not like a...
Right. I mean, that was...
Or like,
he was very much really this character. But he did it, like, to different... Like, I mean, he comes in and plays a dork.
That's true.
So he kind of got it right away that like it's not just being a great athlete, you also have to have a character.
Performer, yeah.
And like I remember reading his book, he wrote a lot about like how he had to learn that the first year coming up, that it's not just if it was him versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley in a shoot fight, he would kill him, but it doesn't matter if Triple H is the more successful character. You gotta figure out how to work that out. So the first match we watched was
go to my notes.
At No Way Out 2000, him versus Chris Jericho.
Yep.
For the Intercontinental title.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I mean, I always just once again, I think after you watch enough of these, you kind of see the same moves. You kind of know they're like MO. And I always like associate Kurt Angle with suplexes.
Yes, he's big on the
suplexes. He's a suplex guy. And I feel like it was one of those matches that starts the lock up and then the cross ring, leapfrog over. Kind of see that sequence. That's almost like the initial laying the groundwork. Kurt Angle wins though. But this is the one where he got thrown in the trunk.
Yes, yeah. The whole night, after each match, they show him celebrating with the crowd.
That's right.
Different parts of the arena, and then before the last match, he's still celebrating in the parking lot by himself and gets jumped by Chris Jericho and China and shoved into the back of his car.
So Angle uses the belts. I mean, kind of the normal stuff.
Yes,
in this match.
and so he had gone into the match as the European champion.
Okay.
So he wins, and he becomes the first ever Intercontinental champion.
Ah.
Except for D'Lo Brown, but he doesn't count, as Kurt Angle would say.
Oh, who?
D'Lo Brown.
Why doesn't he count?
Because Kurt Angle said he didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I already forget. What was his, speaking of him being a dork, what was the, acronym he would use?
Oh, the 3 I's.
The 3 I's.
Intensity, intelligence, and integrity.
Yeah, that's kind of dorky.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say you dropped that pretty soon.
I mean, it was quite a few shirts in.
Oh, okay.
I had 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you on the Kurt Angle train?
Oh, definitely. Oh, I was.
Really?
Yeah, I was early, late 1999. As soon as he came in, I was like, oh yeah, this is the guy.
You're a fan?
Yeah, definitely.
What did you like about him?
Just how he was a dork. He was a loser, but all his segments were funny. It was.
And they didn't have anybody who was dorky like that.
Not really. I mean, really, the closest guy was because he's kind of rising as Mick Foley's leaving. But Mick Foley talks about when Mick Foley became the commissioner, him and Kurt Angle were basically playing the same character, just these aloof dorks who. Kurt Angle was a great wrestler though on the off end.
Which one of Mick Foley's characters is a dork?
Mick Foley,
yeah,
Commissioner Foley, when he was
I was gonna say
and Kurt Angle he had a segment every Raw or SmackDown, he had 1 or 2 backstage segments, just establishing him as this goof, but he'd always end up the better because he'd win the match that he was in.
Yeah. But then we watched the one versus The Rock.
Yeah, so then we went to October of 2000. So still, this is about 11 months after his in-ring WWF debut. And he beats The Rock to win the world title.
Yeah, this one is I put that as one that's chaotic.
Yes.
There was the fake promo interview, which is
right.
funny.
Yes.
There was Stephanie McMahon running around. There was a cardboard cutout. Stephanie gets body slammed, and Triple H is running around, and Rikishi's running around.
Yes.
So
this was a chaotic time in the Federation.
That's true. Well,
Steve Austin had just showed up, and that makes chaos
right.
explode exponentially in the whole company. So Stephanie McMahon, the month before, they had a big blow off for the Triple H Kurt Angle feud, which had been brewing over who Stephanie would choose.
Oh.
And she chose Triple H, and that was pretty bad for the storyline. It didn't make a lot of sense, but the time they had started going out, and you never really want to give your woman to someone else in storylines because it always ends up playing out in real life.
Yeah, it's art.
So Triple H was better lock this down.
Life imitating art.
Yeah, 21 years later, I think you could say he made the right decision.
Yeah, exactly.
But so then they just had Stephanie be Kurt Angle's business partner. So when The Rock attacks her, Triple H comes out and attacks both The Rock and Kurt Angle since she was his responsibility.
Yes, obviously.
And then Rikishi comes out because supposedly the reason he hit Steve Austin with a car a year earlier was to help The Rock become the #1 guy in the company. So now he claims he's still trying to help The Rock, but then he accidentally super kicks The Rock, I think.
Yeah,
a
lot happens.
And then Kurt Angle gives him an Olympic slam, which is impressive.
Yeah.
Give Rikishi's fat ass the Olympic slam.
Yeah, seriously. I feel like he did less ankle locks at the beginning.
Yeah, this was still him.
Olympic slam was his finish. And then it was the ankle lock or angle lock?
Ankle body part lock. At first they tried. Well, it was always called the ankle lock.
Because it's the first time they said.
I think the first time they used, like, he started using it, they called it the angle lock, but then they went back to ankle lock. But some of the times the announcers didn't really make it clear.
It's not just me, because I every time I
no,
heard it,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's saying ankle.
Yeah.
Lock, but it could plausibly. It's plausible. I think in the law.
There was a first 3 months where he was using that regularly, where they didn't know whether to call it the ankle lock or the angle lock.
Either way, it works.
Yeah.
Is Kurt Angle his real name?
Yes, that's shoot name. That's what he won the gold medal is, and it works well.
It does, yeah. Well, I think it's just kind of great now that works.
Right, but I mean, even it's not something like who could believe a guy named Kurt Angle is a wrestler. It's no, it's a regular name.
It is. It is.
So then our next match, we hype up the violence a little bit.
Yeah.
We go to King of the Ring 2001.
Yep.
Him versus Shane McMahon.
Yep.
And it's a street fight. And
this is the awful one with the glass.
Yes.
Oh, that's what I was trying to remember from my notes.
Yes.
Shane. I mean, I said Shane's actually a decent wrestler, but Kurt's definitely more strong and agile. This is when he hit the moonsault. That's when he told me he's not allowed to hit moonsaults.
Yes, because a year earlier he tried it and broke a guy's arm.
Who?
Hardcore Holly.
I don't know why I asked.
Yeah, he's kind of a bum.
Yeah, well, that's too bad. Still don't want his arm to be broken.
No.
But
then he only.
Why do they keep trying to do this move? It's
They
painful to watch.
They had the idea that Kurt Angle was just going to suplex him through the glass, and I'm sure it was it had to be sealed because the one time
that's
prepared because the one time he did do it and it went through.
Right.
But that was him taking the brunt of it on his back. Because his back is totally cut up after that. Ugh. But then the next time he tries it, and again, poor Shane just falls straight on his head on the cement. So then he tries it again, and again, Shane just falls right on his head.
Why?
Then the third time, he just whips him through it so hard that it could have been bulletproof glass he was flying through that.
Yeah, why? Are they committed to the process?
I think so. Yeah.
I would have been oh, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the ring.
No, and I think they having to wheel Shane back on the equipment cart. I think that was a real shoot. Shane McMahon was not walking back to the ring.
Yeah.
And then they kind of did this. I thought it was kind of overkill to have Shane McMahon still kick out of that.
Yeah.
But then he hits the Olympic slam off of the plank that they had on the top rope. So it's the Super Olympic slam finishes him off.
Yeah. So Kurt had a lot of big moves. Definitely made him look good.
Yeah.
Why was he fighting with Shane McMahon, or was he feuding?
So the month before, Kurt Angle had beat Chris Benoit to regain his gold medals.
His gold medals?
Yes.
Gave those up?
No, Chris Benoit just stole them. But he had
more than one gold medal? I thought he said one gold medal.
Well, he always had two gold, literal gold medals with him. They weren't. It wasn't until later that he actually had the real Olympic gold medals with him. First he had the gold medals with him, for real. And then, one of his first two road trips, he almost lost them.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Then he realized that's not a good idea.
And so he went to Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon saw a guy in the crowd with them.
Oh, jeez.
So they got them back, and he was I'm just gonna most of his first 6 years, it's just him wearing cheap gold medals from it's an invitational that he won as the 12-year-old or something.
Gotcha.
So those were his gold medals. And he beat he beat Chris Benoit to get them back. So then he was having a gold medal ceremony, and Shane McMahon interrupted it.
Oh.
And talked about how his WCW was coming soon. It was going to be so great and everything. And Kurt Angle did not like him taking up the spotlight, so he gave him an Olympic slam during the middle of that. So then Vince McMahon gave Kurt Angle a match with Shane McMahon.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Brutal match.
Yep.
Very bloody and just really stiff.
Yeah.
Shots.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of, there's other stiff shots too in later ones that I was thinking of. After that, we tried to watch a promo.
Yes, and unfortunately, I've been trying to download it all night. It is blocked from the internet.
That's impressive. What song was he singing?
He doesn't even sing it. He just says, Triple H. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day.
Oh no, no more episode's gonna get wiped.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But I mean, yeah,
bleep that out.
just mock singing that song by Irish pop band.
Wow, have really good lawyers.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, if they find this,
if they get it, they get it. But yeah.
Cool.
So it's a good angle. It's a good
promo
though, because it's Kurt Angle. He's like, oh, big deal. He tore his quad. I tore my quad earlier today. I'm here. I'm running around. And Christian just like, I know. Yeah, I do it all the time.
That's funny. We did some. Yeah, he is like, you're right. The dork's the best way to describe him.
Yes.
Like, especially when he does the Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
That's
yes.
really funny. I liked that.
Yeah, and then like this was the time, like especially like middle of 2001, like him and Steve Austin, when they're both heels, they have like a run of like 3 weeks where it's just like ridiculousness in the bit. Like they're singing karaoke.
That's funny.
They're wearing cowboy hats. And
Why not?
They have badges, and Kurt Angle doesn't need any stinking badges.
Well, yeah, he's got his medals.
Because exactly, he's got gold medal. He don't care.
Yeah, speaking of that, was the next match we watched,
Yes.
2002 versus Steve Austin. I didn't really write a lot. I said very physical, lots of suplexes.
Yeah.
Good tight match.
Yeah, this was like a Raw match, which it was unusual for a Raw match to be like this technical and this like hard fought, and it's a clean ending. I mean, Steve Austin eventually escapes enough moves to hit a stunner and just wins clean. And it was kind of like a look at their feud the year before, because I know we watched the SummerSlam match between them.
Yeah.
Where Kurt Angle wins by DQ just because Steve Austin beat up all the refs.
Yeah.
So this was the flip where it's back to, I would say, their right characters of Kurt Angle is a sniveling heel and Steve Austin is the
attitude,
the badass fighting everyone.
Yeah, that definitely fits him.
All right, so that covers our Kurt Angle and hair phase.
Okay, all right.
And we'll take a short break, and we'll return with bald Kurt Angle.
It's okay.
Okay, I think this one will cheer you up, Vince. Okay. Here we go. Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. I got Olympic gold. I got Olympic gold. I got Olympic gold. Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. Jimmy crack corn. What?
What are you doing?
I'm trying to cheer up Vince.
Cheer up who?
Vince.
Where is he?
Where'd he go?
You ran him out of the room. You stink. You're horrible. You're pathetic.
Well, I wasn't any worse than you were. I listened to you when I walked in.
I spent a lot of money on guitar lessons. I'm great. Tell him I'm great.
Well,
That's right.
They didn't work.
Did too?
Did not.
Did too.
Did not.
Did too.
Did not.
You heard me, man, till you come in here.
Is he serious?
You make me sick.
All right, and we're back. And as I said, we will now go into bald Kurt Angle. And do you wonder why he became bald?
Now I am. I just thought he shaved his head, but it sounds like there's a reason.
If you're a wrestler and you're going to shave your head, you have to like tell the office and be like, hey, maybe I should lose a hair versus hair match.
What happened?
So he was feuding with Edge.
Oh, wait, okay.
And they had a hair versus hair match. And, I mean, Edge with his long blonde locks versus rapidly decreasing hairline, Kurt Angle. It was kind of obvious who was going to win and lose.
So he was just going bald.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they said he had like alopecia, like
no,
cancer,
he was going bald.
Just going bald.
So
was Steve Austin, right? Is that why he shaved his head?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of figured like his look
clinging
wasn't
to some scraps.
Yeah, wasn't the way to go.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what that male pattern baldness is on a.
So he lost a hair versus hair match, and eventually, like throughout the night, he tried to avoid the barber, but eventually Edge caught him and he got his hair shaved. So then he had about a month where he wrestled with a wig on.
Speaking of wrestlers,
wrestlers with shaved heads. The Rock.
The Rock's on our TV screen right now.
And the chief from Where in the
That's
World
not
is
her.
Carmen Sandiego.
That's not her.
Looks a lot like her.
I really, no, I agree.
So
Anyway,
yeah, so Kurt Angle shaved his head. He had about a month where he wore like old school 1970s style wig with like the wrestling earmuffs to like keep it in place. But then eventually in a match with Hulk Hogan, it came off, and then he beat Hulk Hogan though and made him submit, and said that he submitted Hulk Hogan, another bald wrestler. So he was okay being bald then.
That's funny.
And then then the brand split happened where they split Raw and SmackDown into separate groups.
Yep.
And he went to SmackDown. He feuded with Rey Mysterio to start, kind of, a little bit. And then Stephanie McMahon decided she was going to make SmackDown tag team titles. Because the tag titles were on Raw. So each show needed their own.
Obviously. Like, everyone can have a belt, it feels like, these days. There's
right.
enough titles and belts and...
Well, not in WWF nowadays, because all the belts are held by Roman Reigns and associates, so...
Yeah. Well, I don't really watch the current stuff.
Right. So...
I still only watch wrestling through you.
So we get to No Mercy 2002, and it is Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle, who are kind of like the team of rivals that Stephanie McMahon may team up because they're such good wrestlers that they needed to be in this tournament. That's kind of how she frames it.
Okay.
And then Edge and Rey Mysterio are the face team that they had been together already, and now they're teaming up to take the belts.
Really good.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do an Edge month?
No, I don't think Edge is gonna make it. Edge is very divisive.
Oh, okay.
Because he's got the good matches, but then it's kind of like when he tries to have regular good matches, they're not there as much.
What do you mean regular good matches?
He's good in brawls and stuff,
gotcha.
But when he tries to have a 20-minute technical match, it's not as good.
Not that range. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. But this kind of felt like more like a Rey Mysterio match.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of points where it's Rey working off the base of bigger guys.
Well, yeah. Well, he's always working with the bigger guy.
Yeah.
But it was funny when he kind of mimicked Kurt Angle.
Yeah, because Kurt Angle kind of slaps him around a bit to start, and then he does the same to him.
That was good. I liked that. So yeah, this was a fun one to watch. A lot of good moves with Edge. And yeah, mainly a Rey Mysterio match, but then of course the ankle lock. I'm just gonna say ambiguously lock. A couple reversals, but then Kurt and Benoit win.
Yep, he's kind of this is kind of considered one of the best tag matches.
Oh really?
In company history, yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah, I'd say it's one of the best. Not counting NXT 2016 on.
Okay.
I would say this is probably the top era for, well, at least a couple of matches, because the late 80s was a better era overall, but these top matches were better than that, I would say.
I guess I after 3 years, I still don't have enough context to know whether truly great matches are. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Okay. But then we get forward to baby Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, so Kurt Angle eventually wins the title late in 2002 against The Big Show.
The Big Show had a title?
Yeah, well, that was a whole thing, because The Big Show was feuding with Brock Lesnar.
Oh, jeez, that's a little one-sided.
And supposed to just be Challenger of the Month, lose at Survivor Series, but accidentally injured Brock Lesnar. Jeez, so they had to take the belt off Brock Lesnar and give it to The Big Show for injuring him. Geez. So Brock Lesnar loses the title at Survivor Series, and then they get the title off of him and give it to Kurt Angle. And then Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar have a big match at WrestleMania 19, which we will be watching soon.
Okay.
But not this month, obviously.
I was going to say, yeah.
And then eventually Kurt Angle comes back, and since he had neck surgery, now he's a smiling baby face. And Brock Lesnar is also a smiling baby face at first, which
that's weird.
Is very disconcerting. I mean, now it's okay when he does it as a crazy samurai with lumberjack powers, but back then it was very wrong.
I remember a long time ago, I think when we first moved in together, you were watching some sort of Kurt Angle documentary. It talked about how his neck was really jacked up.
Yeah, it was around WrestleMania 19.
So what happened with his neck?
His neck, he literally broke his neck in 1995.
That's not good.
In the Olympic trials.
Oof.
But somehow they were able to, I think back then you wrestled every 3 months, so it wasn't constant. suffering. So he was able to win. Like, that's why not later years he said he won the Olympic medals with a broken friggin' neck. Because he did, technically, but it wasn't like...
It wasn't like a cast or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was always there, and then, like, around 2002, 2003, it just got really worse, and he had to have neck surgery. And, like, at that time, like, the Steve Austin neck surgery was, like, the example for how to do it for wrestlers at the time, and it was Steve Austin was out for a year. So Kurt Angle had the option of being out for a year, or he found some guy in Pittsburgh who would do it.
Of course.
And you'd be out for like 3 months. So he went to this guy, and it worked, but then he had to have it like 4 or 5 more times.
So more a temporary fix?
Yeah, it's kind of more of a quick fix, especially because then Kurt Angle would go back and wrestle as Kurt Angle 100%. Like, wouldn't dial it back at all. So that also, I think, aggravated it more than anything.
Yeah. Was he addicted to painkillers?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
we will get into that,
okay.
Don't worry.
Okay, because I was, once again, I think I remember overhearing something in that documentary.
Yeah, he was a big painkiller guy. Like, so that's the reason he left the company for quite a while.
Oh, really?
Pretty much.
Go to rehab?
Yeah, kind of.
That didn't sound convincing.
So,
did he go to rehab or not?
He did eventually, not right away.
Oh, okay.
So after his first neck surgery, always a good sign.
Yeah.
He came back and got right into the title picture and started feuding with Brock Lesnar again. And at first they played like friendly rivals thing.
Yeah.
But then Brock Lesnar resorted to being his monster self that he always should be, a monstrous cyborg Viking.
Yeah, but I said slow start, very physical and technical. These are really high flyers, and no one's bringing the drama.
Right.
But then it kind of picked up with...
Right, yeah, they kind of like what they did at their WrestleMania match. They do like almost like a shoot amateur thing to start.
What do you mean to shoot?
Like actual like they're not calling the spot. They're just like, I'm going for a double takedown. See if you could stop me.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
Because they actually did have a real wrestling match, supposedly at a tryout in 2001, where Kurt Angle allegedly like just destroyed Brock Lesnar.
Oh.
And like,
interesting.
This is like collegiate superstar freak athlete Brock Lesnar. Like, he just took him down in a chinlock right away.
Gee. What did Brock Lesnar play in college? Was he a football player or a wrestler?
No, he was a wrestler. He was like the NCAA heavyweight champ.
And what school did he go to?
Minnesota.
That's right.
And like, I think the whole thing with Kurt Angle is he really wishes that UFC got bigger like 4 years before it did, because like if in '96 he came out and there were like places you could go to become a UFC fighter and like actually make money, he would have done that right away.
You think so?
I think so. And
better suited to his skill set.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling was better for a long-term thing, but short-term he would have
get that big paycheck.
But that's the thing. In 1996, until like 2004, really, it wasn't profitable to be a UFC
Yeah,
fighter.
I mean, I barely remember hearing about it.
Yeah, but like 2004, 2005, it started getting bigger and bigger. And then like, I think it was 2008 where Brock Lesnar came and fought and made like one of the biggest buy rates ever. I went to the Buffalo Wild Wings in Forest Park to watch it.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's really big.
Oh, yeah. And all the UFC fans were upset because all these wrestling fans were coming to their Buffalo Wild Wings to watch just because a wrestler was on. Well, and then the wrestler killed like one of the best UFC fighters ever, so.
Where's the Buffalo Wild Wings? I can't picture it. It wasn't on Madison, was it?
No, it might not have been technically Forest Park. It was the closest one to there.
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
The day started with me and Al playing Chicago in a Box. So that tells you at like noon, so we were ready to go.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, so Kurt Angle wins that match, makes Brock Lesnar tap clean, which was the first time that ever happened, where Brock tapped out.
Yeah. Well, that was a lot of craziness. Like, he tapped out twice, and then
Kurt the ref misses it.
Then Kurt got hit by a chair because Vince McMahon comes out. So.
Oh yeah, this is Vince McMahon in his Hawaiian shirt face.
That's right. Yes. So awkward.
And also, yeah, there's bad refereeing in this match because the final ankle lock, Brock Lesnar's in the ropes.
Right.
And the ref pulls him out. and then just doesn't break the hold. And that's actually what leads to 2 weeks later on SmackDown, they had an Iron Man match.
Oh.
So the last hour of SmackDown was
wow.
the two of them fighting. And
Thank you for not making you watch that.
Huh? Yeah. It's
only
only 48 minutes with commercials cut out.
Yeah. No,
but Brock Lesnar wins that and wins the title back.
How do you... I mean, I guess we watched some long Ric Flair matches.
Yeah.
48 minutes. That's a long time.
Yeah. I mean, it was a full hour, I think.
Excuse me. I can't even talk on a podcast.
Especially because they have the clock running in the middle, so they couldn't just, oh, look at that, we draft 5 minutes.
Gotcha. Wasn't Titan time?
Yeah, it was not Titan time.
Okay.
So, yeah, so then after that, though, Kurt Angle kind of goes to I'd say the upper mid-card, kind of not top of the line, and then Eddie Guerrero eventually beats Brock Lesnar for the title.
So who was top of the card this time?
At SmackDown, it would be Brock Lesnar was the main guy, and then kind of whoever he was feuding with. But then, the whole year of 2003 was basically building Eddie Guerrero up, on the undercard, always fighting for the tag titles, fighting for the U.S. title, and then, January 2004, the week after the Royal Rumble, they had a SmackDown Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
Where the winner of that would face Brock Lesnar at No Way Out. Eddie Guerrero wins that. He wins the title at No Way Out.
He beat Brock Lesnar?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then they needed
Before Brock Lesnar became untouchable.
I mean, this was pretty much when Brock Lesnar was untouchable.
Oh, really?
But they had faith in Eddie Guerrero, to be the man. And they tried to set it up at WrestleMania 20 with an image that would, always look good. Unfortunately, Chris Benoit had other plans about that. Still in WrestleMania highlights, one of the top things, especially if it was just Chris Benoit's heart exploded in 2007 instead of the other stuff. The two of them hugging with both the belts at WrestleMania 20 would always be one of the highlight videos, but now it has gone the wayside.
Yeah.
But Eddie Guerrero beats Brock Lesnar, and he needs a new challenger because Goldberg is involved in that match. So they were setting up Goldberg versus Lesnar at WrestleMania. Horrible match.
I think
we watched this.
Saying that, yeah.
Because it was both guys were leaving.
Yeah.
So no one wanted to see it. The crowd just started chanting for Hulk Hogan, for Randy Savage, for Steve Austin. Steve Austin was the guest referee. He should have just called an audible and stunned both of them a minute into the match.
That would have been better.
Because it's how it ends, anyways. He ends up stunning both guys, so they should have just done that.
Cut their losses, yeah.
Yeah, but so Kurt Angle, though, who was a face at the time, emerges as I think he wins some sort of match on SmackDown, become number one contender, and then he turns heel.
Gotcha.
Because he should be a heel, and does this whole thing about how Eddie's a drug addict and an alcoholic. We can't have an addict be our world champion.
Is that a little bit the pot calling kind of?
Yeah, but I mean, at this time though, Eddie Guerrero just released his biography where he is very open about he was fired for a year in 2001 because he got out of rehab and he was on his way to his first WWF show and got pulled over with a DUI.
Oof.
So then he got fired, and he came back 6 months later, though, and was totally clean.
That's good.
But, he had quite the run of painkillers and alcohol. Oh. So it was, a big thing, though, that he was, he was on the straight and narrow, and Kurt Angle was no, I have to stand up for America and American rights. And, yeah.
Playing that angle.
Yep.
That's not the first time they've played that card.
Nope, and it ain't the last
time. Yeah.
Nope.
Try and true.
But it gets us to WrestleMania, and we have this match between Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle.
Yeah. Slow bit. Oh, I like that little tilt-a-whirl move they did. They kind of spun around. Slow match. I think I still stand by this. I said the ankle lock I bet it hurts, but it doesn't really look that painful. It doesn't really look that
It depends,
It just looks like you're giving the guy a quad stretch.
Yeah, and it also depends, who he's doing it to and how long he's going to hold it on. If it's usually, a short one, he's barely turning it, but, you can tell if it's the end of the match when he, clamps down.
Yeah. But some of these looked kind of okay. Once again, I'm sure it's painful. I know that's... But, the optics, it's that doesn't look too bad. Sometimes it just looks like getting, a deep stretch.
Yes. But in this match, it hurts so bad But Eddie Guerrero decides to unlace his boots to try and relieve the tension.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then eventually,
I about that.
when Kurt Angle locks it again, he tosses Kurt Angle to the outside of the ring.
Shimmies his foot off.
And he shimmies his foot. Not all the way off.
That's true.
Just most of the way off. So then when Kurt Angle does it again, the boot slips off, and Eddie Guerrero rolls him up, and of course gets the ropes, because Eddie Guerrero's thing is he lies, he cheats, he steals.
Yeah.
So he's going to cheat as much as possible.
I know that now.
Especially against Kurt Angle.
And like the fans just are okay with that, or
Oh yeah,
really?
Because that was like his character. Like he had said that for like a year. Like I lie, I cheat, I steal. So everyone was like, "Yeah, he did it. He cheated.
He cheated. He stole."
Yeah, I mean, he's like he beat Brock Lesnar, so
that's true.
He's not going to be able to do that legally.
Fair
he needs
enough.
to cheat to do that.
Fair enough. All right.
So yeah, but then Kurt Angle sticks around. He's still around, and then he eventually comes back to SmackDown. He goes to Raw for a little bit, but SmackDown is his home.
Okay.
Mainly because they wanted to send Shawn Michaels to SmackDown, but Shawn Michaels' church group was on Tuesday, so he doesn't do SmackDown.
Really?
Yes. So Kurt Angle was kind of pissed that he was the second choice to go to SmackDown. But he goes to SmackDown. He wins the world title.
Shawn couldn't ask his church group to change nights?
No. His church group is much more important than wrestling.
Oh, my goodness. All right.
So Batista gets injured. Batista was the champ on SmackDown. Gets injured. So they have to have a battle royal for the new champ. And also it helped that this SmackDown was in Pittsburgh. So he's going to get the big pop anyways.
Right. So he's going to go. Okay.
So he wins the title. Faces Mark Henry at the Royal Rumble. At the end of the Royal Rumble, he beats Mark Henry. Then the Undertaker comes out with the goddamn chariot.
Oh.
And
I think I watched like
a horse.
Yeah.
And shit. And makes lightning
crazy.
fall down at Kurt Angle.
Well.
And then makes the ring fall apart. Because that's why that hit match had to be the last match of the night.
Gotcha.
It's like, reasons match should be last. Title match. Crazy shenanigans. Babyface wins. Undertaker does zombie shit.
Destroys a ring.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Undertaker did zombie shit. So
don't curse so much, Peter.
That's alright. We already got the
explicit.
The
we
rating.
do?
I think so.
Oh, we should be cursing more.
Yeah.
Really lean into it. Nah, that's okay.
So then the Undertaker unveils he wants the belt.
Oh, this was one of the matches I thought was a little stiff.
Yeah, I could see that.
There were a lot of transitions that were just kind of off.
Yeah, it was a different match for sure. Like, this was not a match definitely for the Undertaker. It was very uncommon for him to have a half-hour, like, technical match.
Yeah, they just didn't really gel on their styles.
I think it did. Like the last 10 minutes, I think, like, was really good.
Was the back walk over tombstone moves.
Yes,
I like that. I think that this Undertaker did that before in other matches. I think I've seen that before. I still like it.
Yeah, he's done it. He's done it since then.
Okay.
I think this might have been the first time, though.
Yeah.
And, like, they also busted out the old Bret Hart ring post figure 4.
Oh, yeah.
That I like. And it was
old school. Just
the
sound of music. But
yes.
I don't know. That's just, I'm always going to call it.
I know.
But I don't know, just especially at the beginning, it just to do like a couple like lifts to get him up, and some of the transitions didn't really work very well.
Yeah, I liked because it's like it like is a match
that also the greatest match of all time. I just didn't like it.
No, I mean I liked it a lot, but I wouldn't. No, it's not the best match, but I think it's just kind of like it's one of the times where showing a match is like a clash of styles. I think worked. Like other times where they try to do it, it kind of works like clunky.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this still like meshed well.
Yeah, that is funky. That's all right. We don't have to agree.
Yep. Next we go to ECW.
Oh, now we go to
WWE ECW.
So what was that? When they bought it or something?
Well, they had bought it already, but this was when they were getting ready to launch it as its third brand.
Gotcha.
And so the thing was,
so he was okay with it now that
Paul
Paul Heyman was still there, right?
Yeah, well, for the first 2 weeks, Paul Heyman was in charge of the ECW. But
gotcha.
Telling you that he was in charge for 2 weeks should tell you about how long the actual image of it lasted.
Right, exactly.
Also, it doesn't help that RVD was their first champ and he got busted driving while smoking pot.
Oof.
So, that kind of ruined the promotion.
Yep, all right. That's a little buzzkill for ECW.
But the deal was like Paul Heyman gets a draft, one guy from SmackDown and one guy from Raw.
Ah, okay.
And obviously he's drafting drafting RVD from Raw to be ECW, but he wanted to draft Kurt Angle from SmackDown. And they had a promo thing with Mick Foley, which would have been an awesome match if they had actually followed through with it, where Mick Foley was talking to Kurt Angle about how, like, he walked out on an ECW show. He knows ECW's nothing but side shows and freaks. And, like, he should disavow it, but Kurt Angle was like, no, I'm going to be the best wrestler in ECW. And they were ready to, like, build a promotion basically around him and RVD. And, well, we'll get to it after this match, what happens to both of them.
Okay. Well, this is 2006.
Yes.
And then he has is this his first match wearing the mouth guard?
No, he started wearing it pretty much probably right after the Undertaker match.
Oh, really?
I think he actually hurt something in his mouth in that match. So he started wearing a mouthpiece, and then it just became part of his character. Because even in the Undertaker match, I think he started wearing the wrestling, like, sneakers.
Gotcha.
And he had that there.
So he just kind of leaned into the wrestling character.
Even more to amateur wrestling, and they kind of changed his music a little bit.
Yeah.
It was the drum beat was like kind of more solid. It wasn't as easy to chant "You Suck." The fans, we still at WrestleMania 22, we still got "You Suck" in, but it wasn't as clean as it used to be.
Yeah, when did that start? I know
It was 2000,
soon,
like
right,
January 2001, I would say.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean, there was always like "You Suck" chants, but then when people realized like we could sing it in tune with the music. The best was like early 2002, where he was feuding with Steve Austin. So you would get the "You suck what? You suck what? You suck what? You suck." People were even doing it during his interviews, and he would like freak out.
That's funny.
So here he's feuding with Randy Orton, though, who he kind of been feuding with all spring.
Another baby wrestler.
Yeah, baby Randy Orton.
I think he was at 24 years old there.
I think he was 24 is when he won the world title for the first. I think it was 26.
Yeah, they made a big deal.
But still, like,
yeah.
Just a couple arm tattoos, not the full sleeve that
True,
he would become known as. No voices in his head music.
Nope.
But he does have his pyro in the Hammerstein Ballroom, which makes it smoky for the entire match.
Yeah, that was a small. Why did they do it at that venue? It's like a throwback.
Yeah, because that's what, like, I mean, the top venue would have been the ECW arena, but that was like not wired for them, basically.
Gotcha.
Like, they wouldn't have been able to do WWE production in there, and they could do it in the Hammerstein Ballroom, where ECW did run quite a bit. Okay. But it was also ECW wired to the
in Philadelphia.
Yep. Now it's like the
capacity is only 1,300 people.
Yeah, that also.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
I mean, the one night stands couldn't have been that much more.
Original name Viking Hall.
Yeah, Viking Hall was the original name of it.
Interesting. All right. So it's going down a rabbit hole here now. Go back to my notes. Okay. So yeah, this is. The big note I had here was that the crowd loves Kurt Angle. Like was like, why are they so like?
Well, because like the thing was at this show was like ECW versus WWE guys. Like all the matches. So Kurt Angle was a WWE guy, or no, he was an ECW guy here. And Randy Orton was like the prototypical WWE guy. Yeah. Like, I mean,
it's the kind of guy Vince likes.
It's the kind of guy Vince likes. Looks the part. Looks the part. Him versus anyone in the original ECW. It's like not even a question of who's like the bigger star. Like, he just looks like a wrestler so much more than he's very anti ECW just in his look and stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, like, anyone he would have been a heel against, but against the guy that, like, for the 2 weeks leading up to this, you knew that Kurt Angle was going to be one of the faces of the new ECW. So, yeah, that's why.
Gotcha.
And, yeah, they boo the hell out of Randy Orton.
Oh, big time,
Big pussy chant to start, I believe.
Yeah. Yep, that's nice.
Yep.
Charming. Yeah, this was weird because there wasn't a lot of room around the ring. It was like
it's a small...
So yeah, arena. I mean, people just he could have done like nothing, and Kurt Angle would have gotten it. So yeah, I said all the classic suplex moves, did the ankle lock, and then he did the ankle lock. What did the ankle lock again to win it?
Yes.
So And then we went back and watched the Kurt Angle the Shawn
Yes, the
promo.
Shawn Michaels promo from leading into the WrestleMania 21 match where he claimed he was going to do everything better that Shawn Michaels did in 3 weeks. So he beat Marty Jannetty 1 week, and then the next.
Marty Jannetty was still around?
Well, kind of. He popped in there very shortly.
Eaten.
Yeah.
Were they the Rock and Rollers?
The Rockers.
Rockers.
Yeah.
That was close.
Yeah.
Who's the Rock and Rollers?
No one.
Who's the Midnight Express?
Stan Lane and Bobby Eaton.
Okay. Don't know where I got that one, but somewhere
we saw them. We watched
I know,
them.
but
we didn't.
still. There's
the Rock and Roll Express.
Well, that's what
That's who feuded with the Midnight Express for a while. Yeah.
I just kind of combined them all.
They all kind of did combine.
Very similar names, in my head. They're all running together. But yeah, so talk more about...
So, after that match, a couple weeks later, there were all these... in November the year before, there were all these rumors that, some top WWE star was suicidal after the death of Eddie Guerrero. Someone had really gone into depression, and eventually everyone figured out it was Kurt Angle.
Really?
Kurt Angle was, let's see if they say here. Angle was granted an early release from his WWE contract because of health reasons. He asked for his release because he was working hurt, and they wanted to give him time off to go to rehab, and he refused rehab.
Eesh.
And their drug policy at the time was if you go to rehab and you come back, if you refuse to go to rehab, you're fired. Gotcha. So that's what happened to him.
Okay. Wait, did he eventually go to rehab, though, you said?
No, well, not right away. Because then he goes to TNA.
Okay.
And he actually wrestled in TNA for 10 years, longer than he was in WWF. Wow. And during this time, I think he had quite a few DUIs. DUI 1, 2, 3...
Don't they take your license away?
4. Well, a lot of them are in different states, so I think so he had at least 5 DUIs.
That's really irresponsible.
Pennsylvania. Well, I mean, it too in Moon Township, which I think is probably where he was kind of living.
Probably.
And then they also were finding steroids in his car when they searched him. So he was kind of a mess, and TNA had no drug policies.
Oh.
So he was there just kind of, and then eventually he got sober. Not sure when exactly he did it, though. I think it was 2000. It looks like 2013, at least, was the last time he got arrested. And he entered a rehab center after that. Okay. So hopefully since then, 2015, he got the actual neck surgery to fix his neck.
Gotcha.
But then
the one he should have gotten 15 years before.
And then 2017, he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Oh.
And then he became the general manager. And then in late 2017, he had a few matches, as kind of a stand-in for guys that got injured and stuff. And then 2018, we watched his.
We did.
Unfortunately, not his last WrestleMania match. His last good WrestleMania match.
What was his last WrestleMania match?
The next year against Baron Corbin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, this was more like the Ronda Rousey match.
Yes, he's a side character.
He was definitely a side character.
It works though because they kind of show it in. They didn't really play it up in the promo we watched, but they kind of set it up that he was helping to train her.
Yeah.
Because she was, she was a bronze medal. She was an Olympian.
Right, 2 Olympians.
Two Olympians.
Yeah, they had a kind of common thread.
Right.
But yeah, it was a good match. I just said Kurt and Triple H are both old. Some good news, though.
Yeah,
well, yeah,
they're still able to do their big spots, but there is the one top part early in the match where they're kind of rolling around. It looks like the seniors at the house are arguing over who's getting the last yellow or something. Yeah, it's not.
A little bit.
But they ended up pulling it together, and they have a good match. And yeah, it was Triple H was ready to show his ass to help make Ronda Rousey a star. And so is Stephanie ends up tapping no problem, but it was the main point of this match is to make Ronda Rousey
look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she did all her Judo moves and her arm breaking moves. And, yeah, the two of them halfway through the match just laid on the side.
Yeah, they're kind of just laid out. And
yeah.
Take their time out.
Mm-hmm.
With the spotlight. on Ronda.
Yeah.
But no, it's a good match. And yeah, and then he had matches, but it was kind of like, if it wasn't a tag team match, it kind of became like clear, like he's kind of old and shouldn't be doing this anymore.
Yeah.
And like, it was kind of in March, like leading up to WrestleMania 35, he tried having like all these like him versus Samoa Joe, him versus AJ Styles, because they had like a bunch of matches in TNA that were really good, but a 4-minute match on Raw was not the way to do it. And the match with Corbin wasn't good. He loses, and it's kind of like, ugh.
Kurt Angle loses?
Yeah.
You're like, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, you're losing to Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
And he had like said that he had made the pitch for it to be or John Cena.
Oh.
But John Cena didn't end up wrestling at that WrestleMania. But he could have. I'm sure he would have been happy to wrestle an 8-minute match with Kurt Angle. Like,
seriously.
Two of the safest guys, they could have done it. I mean, it wouldn't have been like 8 German suplexes or anything. It would have been.
Right.
But the powers that be felt that it was more important to get Baron Corbin over.
Not so much.
Yeah, didn't really pay. I mean, he's still around, unfortunately.
Right. Know how you feel about it.
Yep.
All right,
so his rankings. So nuance, and again, that's like flexibility, longevity. So longevity really is about 6 years, and then a little bit on the back, say 7 years with all the stuff on the back end, but mainly 6 years as a main guy. Face and heel, he does both better as a heel.
Yeah.
Tag team, like, he doesn't tag too often, but like I said, when he does, it's one of the best
good ones.
tag matches ever, so I'd say he's pretty good there. So what are you thinking?
Thinking like an 8.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
I'm going to go 9. Because his face work isn't that great. So I can't go much more. Okay, J is jump up match. So big moments, big matches.
I don't know. 8.5.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not like, what's like, I don't know, like in my head, like the Kurt Angle match. Like,
yeah, I think he kind of is hurt because if he had stayed for a few more years, they were just getting to the point where like the big WrestleMania matches were just like, weren't so much the title matches, it was like the work rate match. Like he has the match with Shawn Michaels that is that match at that WrestleMania, but like if he had stuck around, he probably would have each year had like a headline match, but it kind of ended a little too early. I'm going to go 9. But yeah, I think that's kind of, I mean, he has a lot of big moments, but no like real
like headliners. Yeah.
Like even when he's the champion, he's not like the top guy in the company, I would say.
Right.
So P is promo and character work.
He was pretty good. I'll give it an 8.5.
Okay.
We only watched a couple promos, but
yeah, we didn't watch enough. I'm going to give him a 9 for that. He was
straight 9s from you so far.
Yeah, I mean, and then W is work rate, so this is actual.
Yeah, he's a
work
good
rate
wrestler. Yeah, 9.
9. Yeah, I'll go 9. It's a shame that we couldn't get like 2008 peak Kurt Angle versus peak Daniel Bryan.
That'd be pretty cool.
Or Daniel Bryan.
Whatever, yeah.
Whatever.
And I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
Equal sign SUM.
So 34.
Equal sign. Gotcha.
And 36.
Yeah, 36.
Yeah.
I've done the math for you on that one.
Yeah, 4 times 10. Yep. But no, I think, Kurt Angle, he's kind of, he's a guy who's not at the very top. He's not top 10. He's kind of right on the outside looking into that.
I'd say, yeah, that's fair. I enjoyed it. But like
he was always a top guy, but he wasn't, like I'm saying, he was never the top guy for, even when he was the champion on SmackDown, when it was one brand, it was like the Brock Lesnar show or
right.
Well, basically the Brock Lesnar show.
So it didn't really go off the ropes too much. Just
right, yeah.
His suplexes and his...
Well, he was big in the pop-up superplex, though, where he'd run up the ropes and
that's true.
suplex the guy off always real quick. I was a big fan of that move.
Fair enough.
So, for our next month, it's up to you. It'll, one way or another, it'll contain a Kurt Angle match.
Okay.
And we're going to watch both of these guys. It's just the order that we watch them in. Either both also from the OVW class of 2002, John Cena or Brock Lesnar?
Let's do John Cena next.
John Cena first? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So, that's when we'll talk to you next. And until then, enjoy yourself. I have this ad that I'm going to click out of. All right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.